All right, so guys, hello and welcome to the call. I'm going to give Jeff a little introduction, but as always, guys, you know the housekeeping rules. Let's try and be locked in, right? Let's try not to multitask. Any questions, we'll try and save till the end. Use the chat, obviously, too. But for the most part, guys, yeah, and after this call, guys, please share, support Jeff, right? Connect with him definitely, because everything that he's going to say on this call, and just like every guest speaker, guys, or anything that I say or anything anybody else says, you will see it every single day. He will model it on social media too. So if you're like, wow, and he talked about all this all sounds great, but what does it look like? Make sure you connect with him on Facebook, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on all this stuff, and make sure you guys support and give him a shout out, because listen, guys, the people that we bring on to do these calls, they don't take the time to do this for everybody, right? So I just want to let you guys know that, please be appreciative and make sure we support and share, just to help these guest speakers out. But let's get into it, guys. So as I've said this story a bunch of times, because we actually had a lot of guest speakers from this mastermind that I was a part of. But this also just goes to show the importance of investing, to be in rooms with people that are doing shit that people that you're surrounded with are not doing, right? And the only way that you can find these rooms are investing to be a part of them, which you guys took the first step by investing to be a part of the harvest. And I know a lot of you seen the results of how that could change your life, your business, and your health, and you personally and professionally, most importantly, your network. So 3 years ago, I spent the most I've ever spent on a mastermind, and I've had the opportunity to meet Jeff at this event. And when he was introduced by our friend Scott Duffy, he went into all these designations of pretty much all these people that either Jeff worked for or people that hired Jeff, or all these recognitions he had from Forbes and all these different publications that we all know that the biggest entrepreneurs or the biggest celebrities or whatever, they were all showcased in here. Jeff was showcased in there, and he's also a contributor for them. So I connected with Jeff during that event. And then the 3 years after, I just consistently see the amazing things that Jeff does, all the different times that he went viral, now he's into crypto gaming and all this stuff. And when I say that he gets into something and this is how good he is, there's no question about, do I know what Jeff has going on? Because he makes it visible, he makes it present. And the reason why he's so good at this, he actually has a company called Branded Media, right? That he's going to go into doing this. So what I want you guys to get from this call is, Jeff is going to talk about a little bit of kind of his journey and where he's been spotlighted. And I know we don't like to really talk about a lot of his awards and stuff like that, but I definitely want you to share that, Jeff. But he's also going to go into, how to brand. What are the important things to know about branding? Because he has the founder of Uggs on the board of one of his companies. That's just one reason why you should be 1 billion% locked in on this. These are the people that we bring in, right? So Jeff is going to talk about the do's and don'ts and what to know about branding, because every single one of you in these squares, I say this all the time, are a brand. Whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, you better start believing and you better start knowing. And when you start taking it more seriously, your bank accounts will go up, your impact will go up, your business will go up, right? So he's going to talk about that. And then he's going to talk about, like I share with you guys a bunch of times, how great he is at social media with literally going viral, I believe, every single platform. And the comment that he just made, the funny thing is I've heard this from quite a few people. It's always the post that you least expect to go viral that goes viral. And that just goes to show you that when everybody's out there not posting because they want it to be perfect, right? Perfection leads to procrastination, right? And this just is another reason why you should post, even if it's not perfect, because it may be that's the one that goes viral, and the one that you thought was perfect and damn, this is going to kill it. Everybody's going to comment. Everybody's going to watch it, and it falls flat. So we're going to go into that too. So without further ado, Jeff, thank you. I know how busy you are, man. I know everything that you're working on. I appreciate the hour that you're going to give us here. So why don't you just share with everybody kind of, who you are, and share, obviously share your companies, because I want them to know how they can support and use you, but talk about the different designations, maybe the people that you work for, so they can understand kind of, the man and the beast that you
Well,
are?
I think actually what's important is to share a little bit about how I got here, and to reinforce something you just said about, investing in the relationships that you have, investing in your communities, investing in your own self. And looking at the room, looks like a bunch of high power people in here. Most of you guys have already built a personal brand unintentionally through your results, through your achievements. I can see a bunch of you guys have, your company named in the background, whether it's a building you're in or a Zoom background or whatever. And, as an entrepreneur, right, as a business owner, we wear a lot of hats. That's actually part of my brand. So Savage Marketer is my podcast of, if there's an overarching thing about anything I do, it's savage. Everything that I do is savage. I've learned that if you want to do something that's incredible in life, if you want to reach new goals, you can't do what everyone's doing. And the opposite of savage is average. You can't do average and expect savage results. And I feel like most people, they're just going along business, doing things average. And really, the key to success about me going viral over and over and over and over on every platform, from LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, I go viral like every month. One of my videos that I never expect goes viral. I just went viral at CES this month. If you guys know what the Consumer Electronics Show is in Las Vegas. And it's funny because there's a lot of people that use view counts and virality as a show of their value, and it's not. Guys, you guys have probably seen these quote unquote influencers who have 1 million followers or whatever, and they're broke, right? So if there's one thing I want to leave you today on this call, is to how to intentionally build your personal brand so that you can actually have authority and influence in your field, and build a deep emotional connection with your audience so that you can actually foster engagement in your communities for them to take action. So that's it. Funny story, Devin saw Brian Smith. He's the founder of UGG Boots, who came into our mastermind that we also invested in together many years ago. I think 3 years ago, Devin. But he comes up, he's introduced, and by everyone's surprise, he reaches out to me, during the thing, says, "Hey, what's going on, Jeff?" And I'm like, "Hey, it's been a while since we had lunch together." He picked me up from the airport and we had lunch. We talked about one of my businesses, and he's on the board of advisors for the branding agency that I run. And I think Devin at lunch was kind of like, "Wait, what? Not only do you know this guy, but he's on your board of directors?" Right?
Yep.
It's really important to have established relationships with experts in your field. First and foremost, I'd say that it's interesting because everyone on here is probably an expert at what they do, but there is a very big difference between an expert and a recognized expert, right? How do you level the playing field so that you're on the same level as a recognized expert? So that's what I want to share with you guys today. Again, I have a virtual staffing agency. I know we talked about that a little bit before here. I have over 150 people in the Philippines. It's we call it the premier virtual assistant staffing agency. That's how everything started. In the past life, I was a Fortune 500 project manager for Philips Electronics. I actually love project management, and if they would have treated me with respect and actually compensated me what I was worth, I'd probably still be there. I actually like working for other people, but now that I'm an entrepreneur, I've kind of decided that I'm unhireable. It's very hard to hire me, and I can't imagine anything crazier than what the lifestyles that most of us have chosen here of entrepreneurship. I'd actually like to ask.
You had a story about, because you were using virtual assistants, you were like super productive, right? I remember you telling me this, and they didn't like that.
Well, it didn't go through HR. So as a project manager, if you guys know anything about the project management world, like 60% of your job as a project manager isn't managing projects. It's doing documentation. Documentation that sucks. I hate doing documentation. You have to build out project plans. You have to do a bunch of crazy stuff, spreadsheets, you know. And I ended up hiring someone at the time. He was based out of Pakistan, and I hired him on a website called Fiverr back when it was still $5. It's more than that now. But he had a competency list on his skill set. He said that he was a project management certified PM, a PMI, and that he had his project management certification, and that he knew Microsoft projects really well. And I suck at Microsoft projects. So I said, well, for $5 an hour, I'll give it a shot. I hired the guy on Fiverr. I gave him my project docs for $1 million+ project I was working on for a hospital up in Oregon called the Oregon Health Sciences University. It's a very famous hospital up in the Pacific Northwest. I was doing a 3-year project, about $4 million, but I had to do project documentation for one section worth $1 million, which my guess, it probably would have taken me 2-3 weeks working probably, 5-6 hours a day to finish the documentation. And I gave it to him. I asked him how much it would cost, and he says it'd probably take him about like 20-30 hours to do. And at $5 an hour, I started doing the math, and I was like, wow, well, I'm getting paid $260 an hour. Well, Phillips was getting paid $260 an hour. I was making like $40 an hour. I was doing the math, and I was like, wow, what could I do with all my time if this guy was doing that? And even let me whip out the calculator, guys. Let's say, even at the worst estimate of 40 times 5, that's only $200 to have this guy work on this thing for me. So for $200, I'm like, how much peace of mind am I going to get for $200? So I hired the guy. He ended up finishing the project in 2 days. It only took him 26 hours or something like that. He worked the whole damn time. He was probably worked from day to night to finish it. The documentation looked way better than I could have ever done. I actually ended up winning an award. I ended up winning an award at my work. I became one of the top 5 project managers nationwide out of 95. And I won that consecutively 3 quarters in a row. And here's the cool part. I was working less, right? So that was my kind of come to Jesus moment about delegation and outsourcing and building virtual teams. And then on the 3rd quarter of winning it in a row, they actually brought me in. The operations manager said, hey, when you work for a big corporation, they're usually cross matrix organizations. So you have 2 bosses. One of them is like your regional manager, and the other one's like your operations manager. So the regional manager is like, dude, that's freaking awesome. You're killing it, because he cares about the numbers. He's like, wow, that's really awesome. Amazing. Great job. My operations manager was like, dude, how are you doing this, man? And I said, well, I ended up hiring someone to do the project docs for me, and it's been like a life changer. One of them was like, dude, that's super smart, man. I wonder if we can roll this out to Phillips. The other one was like, bro, you're getting written up. So that was kind of when I realized I was onto something. And this was back.
Understand the importance of this. I always, when there's a point that I want to anchor in every single one of your heads with this lesson that you just learned from here, like how many of you right now, like, I could be out there getting more business, but I'm doing all this busy work. I hear it all. There's not enough time in the day, Dev. I could be, but it's like, dude, I'm stuck at attorney, all these people that have to do all this paperwork stuff. And, I want this to anchor in your head, this $10 an hour, like, there's so much that you can leverage out so you can go out there and make more money and grow your business or spend time with your family. So don't miss this lesson, guys.
So ironically, what ended up happening was other colleagues of mine in the project management space were coming up to me saying, hey, man, like, what you're doing is super smart. I don't want you to tell my boss, but I want in on this. Like, can you help me find one of these, virtual assistants? That was that fun. It's like a virtual assistant, like a VA. And okay. In the beginning, when I started VA Staffer, I actually was kind of like a matchmaker where, like, I was kind of I wasn't even doing it for money, because it was, like I said, it was a hobby. I was just helping some of my colleagues hire their own VAs per se. And that's when I started doing research. I looked up, outsource to the Philippines.com, a bunch of other places like that, because I found that Filipinos did the best customer service, things like that. Their cost ratio was really good. And I started hooking people up with VAs, but then I would find out, like, it wasn't working out. You know, like someone would come to me like, dude, that VA that you helped me get didn't work out. Or I just wouldn't hear anything. I'd be like, hey, how's the VA? And they're like, oh, yeah, it didn't work out. And I ended up finding out that most people, it's not like a everyday skill set of waking up and delegating and like managing people and negotiating salaries and performance incentives. Like most people just want to do what they want to do and they want to focus on their business and they don't want to manage people. Like the managing people stuff sucks. So one of my colleagues actually said, hey, Jeff, like you're having great success with your VA. Wouldn't it be better if like, you know, I just hired someone from you and then you dealt with all that. And then you just hooked someone up that was already kind of trained. And, you know, I just want them to follow your VA around and find out what your VA is doing for you and do the same thing for me. So I said, I guess I could do that. And then you would just pay me. And they said, yeah. And then he even joked to me and he said, well, I guess you would be like the VA staffer. And I went to GoDaddy. This was back in 2012. I went to GoDaddy and I typed in vastaffer.com. It was available and I bought it. And that's how the business started. You know, sometimes I think people, you know, looking back, I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about SEO. I probably would have named it something different, like virtual assistant staff or getyourvirtualassistant.com or something like that. But VA staffer was very hard to rank because back in 2012 and 2013, if you typed in VA staffer, all you would see was all about like the shenanigans and scandals happening at the VA, like the Veterans Affairs. It would be like the veteran of, you know, VA staffer leaks information about healthcare, you know, like something like that. So it was a really, really tough, but it took me like 2 years to even rank on the front page, let alone be the top result when you type in VA staffer. That was tough. But here we are. You know, I think we're coming up on 8 years later now. We have 150 team members all around the world, primarily in the Philippines. We service, hundreds of clients with those because some of them work part-time. They work 4 hours for one client, 4 hours for another client. And we also specialize now. So instead of just hiring like random people, we actually hire really high quality people from technology companies like Google, Microsoft, Canva, Shopify. We're just trying to keep the bar raised. We want to keep people super happy. Funny enough, this is the biggest lesson I've ever learned, which kind of like was an aha moment for me, was I have a 150 plus person virtual assistant agency that helps people with VAs, but we don't hire VAs. We've learned that if you hire someone who's a virtual assistant, they've usually already learned what a virtual assistant is through these virtual assistant companies that do training for VAs. And those companies teach people how to be freelancers, freelance VAs. And freelance VAs, they don't give a damn about you. All right. I mean, they might for a little bit, but what they care about is they want to juggle like 5-10 different clients and have a bunch of retainers, and they want to, that, you know, like that's what they want to do. Most of the VAs, if you go to these like Upwork and Fivers and like, you know, online jobs and whatever, they're usually juggling multiple clients. And so they're not dedicated and committed to you. So we focused 100% going all in on dedicated virtual assistants, people that are dedicated to our clients. And that's been amazing because the conversation is different. You know, usually the people that we work, for example, people that we hire from canva.com, you know, those people are like, they work in an office, they're commuting an hour to an hour and a half a day to work. They're sitting in a cubicle. They're usually not respected. They're treated like a number. They might get free coffee. You know, they might get free coffee. They usually have to work 6 days a week. And my pitch to them is I say, hey, how would you like to work for an incredible company that cares about you? We're going to pay you 2 to 3 times more than you're getting paid right now by the best. And they, by the way, they usually already have the best job they've ever had. How would you like to have an even better job, get paid 2 to 3 times more, and you get to work from home in your pajamas? Oh, and we're going to pay you for 2 weeks to get trained by us. So that's our pitch. That's how we attract talent from these technology companies. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today. I really wanted to focus on your brands. But I will tell you that building a really strong brand is very hard when you are your own secretary. it's really hard because you won't have time. You won't have the capacity to work on yourself. Because people always see me, they're like, Jeff, you're all over the place. I got, tens of thousands of followers on Facebook. I'm a Facebook creator now. Most people don't even know what that is. I didn't even know what it was. I was invited to it. So like, for example, if you go to my profile, let me see, it's probably hard for you guys to see this, but on my profile, Jeff J. Hunter right there, do you see that word that says manage right there? Guarantee, except for maybe one of you, if any of you have that button right there, this is manage. You see that thing that says manage right there?
Yeah.
You have to be invited to this. It's something called a professional dashboard. So I can see right now that in the past couple days, 28 days, my post reach, that's going to be hard to read. I can see that my posts on Facebook over the past 28 days, I've reached 139,000 people on my reach, and I have 81,000 engagement. That means 81,000 people liked, commented, shared, or clicked on my posts. And by the way, that's low. That's low for me. I've been slacking because I've been at events with Devin. That's just how it works. I mean, yeah, as a matter of fact, I can see my post engagement right now is down 54%. See, it says negative 54% right now. You guys see that? Yeah. I'm actually down right now, which is pretty crazy to think about, right? I mean, I'm down right now and I've got more engagement than most people ever see. If you go on TikTok, it's even crazier. On TikTok, I got 138,000 followers. 138,000 followers, and my latest video has 6,000 views, but the one before that has 1.4 million views, and some of you guys probably even saw it. You just didn't even know it was me. It was about this AI robot at this event in Las Vegas.
I see you're wearing a hat.
Yes, I am, and here I am in Las Vegas. And what is your name?
My name is Erica, and I'm a humanoid robot. What is your name?
My name is Jeff J. Hunter. Nice to meet you.
Jeff, wonderful to meet you.
Wow. Crazy, right? What the heck is it? Somebody called Will Smith. Somebody said the top comment says, somebody called Will Smith. Has just the comments on my video saying someone called Will Smith has almost 2,000 likes. Just that one comment. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So it goes back to what I said, having the time, right? And a lot of times, TJ says, I do recall seeing that. Yeah, exactly. And some of you guys might have seen my mega viral video, which is 19.2 million views as of today on just my channel. Now, here's the crazy part. I have already accounted this video to have over 250 million views because everyone stole it. I got stolen by Pubicity. I got stolen by the official TikTok gamer account. The video it went viral. It got stolen by everybody, got reposted. Thankfully, I had my Savage Marketer brand in it, so I wasn't mad about it. More people saw my brand. But
that's important too, by the way, like when you saw, like when Jeff will explain, some strategies on what he does for the most part, but to have a piece when you're doing this content, if it does be seen, you want to make sure your logo or something's in there.
That's right. I actually go back to some times when I've gone viral and I wasn't prepared for it to go viral. I wasn't thinking it was going to go viral. And I'm like, man, I had zero visibility. No one saw my face. Nobody saw anything. But on this video, I'm going to show you that's a whopping 12 seconds. This video has over 250 million views, 19.2 million just on my account. It's been shared over 150,000 times. And I bet you if you see this, some of you are going to be like, oh, I saw that. Let me see. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Let's try it out.
Don't get me wrong, being an adult and living on your own is pretty great. The only problem is that I now have access to adult money, which means I can buy whatever I want, which means I end up buying shit like this.
That's your gaming chair, right?
That's my crazy savage marketer gaming rig. Yeah. And I can look at the views. It has, I misspoke, guys. It only has 149,200 shares, not 150,000 shares. I want to be held accountable. All right.
So
but
Jeff,
this
is for people that are like, this is, people like millions, like, what do you feel like based off of these platforms that, like, what are the secrets or what should they know about getting more views to their videos? Obviously you do it at a ridiculously high level, but what are like some easy hacks that you can share with them when they start doing some content and stuff like that?
All right. So that's the wrong question. I appreciate the question, but it's the wrong question.
Okay.
And the reason why is because you don't need 19.2 million views to be successful on these platforms. Okay. Because let me propose a hypothetical, right? So this company, obviously, who makes the gaming rig, they love me. They absolutely love me. They sent me another version 2.0 that's shaped like a scorpion that I haven't even taken out of a box, and it's been over a year. Because I have to have space for it. I mean, come on, so sitting in a box disassembled. The real key factor is how do you leverage this? How do you leverage this? Because for me, if I'm getting 1 million views and I get like, only 100 useful things out of it, somebody contacts me, like I do have to admit, I do get sponsored all the time. I have gaming companies that send me stuff. I've got somebody who sent me like a wallet, somebody who sent me headphones. I've been given, these right here. I did a deal with Nokia. On this new kind of like AirPod that Nokia is coming out with. They sent me these and they paid me $250, which, it is what it is. I mean, it's better than a stick in the eye. And they're pretty cool. They're actually pretty cool. So I get a bunch of cool sponsored opportunities for people that want me to help them get more visibility. But how has that really impacted my business? Not much. It's given me more opportunities, and it's been good for number one thing it's been good for is clout. Okay. When I go into a room and I'm doing a deal, and especially if I'm helping someone with building their brand, doing some marketing for them, and I say, look, here's what I can do for you. Here's what I can do for you, right? Everyone on this call knows we live in a show me economy. We live in a show me economy because everybody claims to be an expert, right? Everybody's an expert. I don't know. Anybody, let me see. Show of hands, chatting, whatever. Does it seem like everybody's a freaking expert these days, right? I mean, that's what it seems like. So like, that's back to what I was saying. How do you get from being the expert to the recognized expert? This is where I want to focus the rest of our time on, Devin. Cool.
Yes, sir.
So if there's one thing I can leave you guys, it's how important it is to position yourself in a way that you add value to people. Okay. That's the one thing that I will tell you over and over and over. And if you look at all the different platforms I've got, I have different messages on every platform. On TikTok, I don't even talk about virtual assistants. I don't talk about delegation. I don't talk about leadership. I don't talk about project management. I don't talk about my branding agency. I have fun. It's a different platform. The average age on that platform is about 17 to 31, right? So those people are interested in seeing cool things. They go on TikTok because they want to be entertained. So my focus on TikTok is to entertain people, That was entertaining watching that robot. That was entertaining watching me in my gaming rig. I want to pique people's curiosity. I want to bring them back to their childhood. I want to make people think, wow, this guy's doing something freaking cool. I want to follow this guy. All right. And that's how you position yourself on that platform. On Facebook, it's more professional. Now, it's not LinkedIn professional. We'll get to LinkedIn, okay, because that's a whole different animal. But on Facebook, these are the friends that I choose to have. Plus, let me see if there's a way I could share my screen on. Can I share my screen on here, bud?
Hold on.
If I have access to that.
Hold on, I'm about to do it now.
Like I said, we're in the show me economy, y'all. We're in the show me economy. So I'm going to show you. All right. And I have not read the chats yet. Oh, thank you guys. All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if I'm looking at my screen, you can see, like, here's Karen Sutherland, who she's a professor in Australia who wrote 3 pages in this actual textbook that's been used in, there's 33,000 of these textbooks being used in universities all around the world. And there's 3 pages dedicated to what I'm teaching you guys today, which is how to get attention and attract, you know, how to attract attention on social media. There's 3 pages in this textbook. I'm literally in a college textbook, which I feel like that's an awesome achievement in my life. Like I would have never imagined, especially someone who went to college for 12 years and then basically complained about the uselessness of my college for the 12 years after. That's pretty much, I didn't expect that. So there's my textbook post. Here's something else about an opportunity that I was involved in. I do, one of the pleasures I have is doing marketing and consulting and advising for crypto games that are coming out, games on the blockchain. And, you know, I negotiate what are called it's called a SAF, which is basically a simple agreement for a future token purchase. So instead of them paying me in dollars to help consult them, I work out these deals with them so that I come in at a pre-public listing price. So for example, this token was listed at 2.7 cents. I was able to purchase 1.5 million of these tokens for $30,000, which is 2 cents a token. And you know, if you guys are curious what that looks like, here's what the token is today. All right, don't hate me for this. Don't hate me for this. All right, see if my internet's gonna work. All right, we're up to 15.58 cents. I bought these for 2 cents. You guys can do the math. I did very well. All right, so I explained to people my business model and how I do consulting for these companies, not only for free, but technically I'm paying them. I'm investing in these companies. It's a mind-blowing idea. I'm just negotiating a pre-market, pre-sale price before it's publicly listed. So I bought all 1.5 million of my tokens before it went live. I'm explaining that to them. I'm showing them numbers. Remember, we live in a show me economy. Ironically, I wrote this post bragging that I made a 750% profit, and that was before it went up to that price. It's 14 cents. I didn't even realize it was up to 15 cents until I showed you guys on the call. Here's another post that I made yesterday. I'm also a mentor for digitalmarketer.com. I'm one of the mentors that teaches personal branding. So I did a video session in Austin, Texas, live at their headquarters with my business partner, Trisha LeConte, which Devin and I got to hang out with pretty much all last week. And we talked about the value of a deep emotional connection with your audience, the value of creating an omnipresent brand. You'll see that I tagged the CEO of Digital Marketer, Mark DeGrasse, who invited us to come and speak at their Digital Marketer Day. Just like I'm speaking with you guys, I spoke in person to all of their certified marketers, which pay tens of thousands of dollars to be a certified marketer, a digital marketer. I get the opportunity to be the mentor and coach the people that pay the tens of thousands of dollars to that program. So it's an instant credibility here. You see, even Mark DeGrasse says you guys are amazing. So this is the type of brand that I want to help you guys build. Okay. I've only showed you the latest 2 posts. That's all I showed you. I just showed you my latest 2 posts. And I also put in a little bit of extra stuff. Like, I think all of us at the Harvest can understand this. I've come to the conclusion that people have been so afraid of dying the past couple of years that they forgot how to actually live. Does anybody feel, can I get an amen from anybody in here? Right? Like, this is, I feel like we're living in a crazy thing. And I can see John Goodale. I didn't even see this comment yet. John Goodale from Utah just said, here. This is one of the biggest dudes in gaming that I met at crypto at the CES event, who is the guy behind something called Glitch. This is a crazy, and take a guess why he wants to be my friend. Guess what he's doing? He has a company that's created the ultimate gaming desk with a built-in Alienware PC. I wonder why he would see value in hanging out with me and building a relationship with me. There's the desk. See how cool that thing is? I have actually had a call with him yesterday, and I told him, I said, look, I'm open. You want to send me one of these things? I'm open to it. I'll let it be my official gaming rig of 2022. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to it. You want to send me one? So anyway, so where does this all apply to you guys? I would love, real quick, because I see we have 20 minutes left. What I'd love to do to make this the most impactful for you guys, I would love for you guys in the chat just to tell me what you do. I want to know who you serve and what you do. Who you serve, what you do. I'm going to throw out tips. I'm just going to mad dog it right now. I'm just going to throw out tips of what type of content you should do for that audience. I want to know who you serve and what you do.
First thing is credit card processing for small business.
Cool. Small businesses relieve. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Wow. Wow. You have a really good community here. There's like tons of different types of things in here.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Ninja Warrior Fitness. Whoa, that's cool.
Jeff could have fun with that.
Yeah, right? Okay, this is good, guys. This is really good. All right. So I am seeing a recurring theme here, which is most of you guys are in the service business. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that most people are in the service business, whether you're doing something for someone, loan officers, financial advisors, pressure washing, loan officers, trainers, realtors, making signs, title insurance. I mean, this is incredible, guys. This really helps me. The other thing that I noticed, Devin, there's a massage and facial spa. Every single person who has every single one of these comments right now, these are all personal brands. Like, it's a trust relationship. Most everybody here, they can do business with anybody else in the field, and they choose to work with you. They choose to work with you because of you. That's what I'm seeing. It's a resounding thing here. Attorneys, marketing agency. Okay, well, this is going to be easier than I thought. I didn't see any like e-com businesses and things like that because those are harder. So I'm going to stick to service-based businesses. All right, hairstylist. Exactly. Thanks, Nicole. This is a trust-based business. They can go to anyone to cut their hair. Why do they go to you, right? So here's what I want to give to you guys. First off, double down on the relationships this year. Double down. I want you guys to double down on the relationships this year. So here's something that I would recommend that every single one of you guys do. Pull up your Rolodex of your existing clients that you've got right now and send them something. If you don't have their address, ask them. Ask them for their address and send them something. It doesn't have to be much, $20, $40. There's gift box websites if you want. We have a certain, well, we don't personally own the service, but we use a service that does gift boxes and things like that we use. I highly recommend them. There's no affiliate link or anything. I'll hook them up. I'll get you guys over. Another idea you can do is a company that I love called Printful, Printful, printful.com. They're the ones who make my hats. They're the ones that make my hats. So now I'm wearing my crypto gaming team hat. You guys see that? So I have 150 people that have invested in me. So here's something cool. Remember earlier I shared the story about the 1.5 million tokens that I bought at 2 cents? What if I told you I resold my tokens to the people in my community? I actually sold 1.2 million of those tokens to my own community. Those people actually bought them from me at below public sell price. And every single person who invests in me, it's $1,500 to join my group to get in on these deals that I'm doing. They paid me $1,500. I just budget $20 to $25 to get a hat plus shipping, which is about $4 or $5. So let's say $30. They get to choose between a hat or a shirt. My assistant sends them a message saying, hey, do you want a hat or do you want a shirt? And I have so many selfies, guys. I have so many selfies from people taking pictures like, oh my God, look what came in the mail today. Oh my God. Oh, people are so excited over a $30 hat. And let me ask you a question. How much would you pay in marketing for someone to just say they're happy with working with you and wear your swag? Wear your swag, right?
I'll tell you what, it's funny. We had a harvest get together yesterday, and I had a bunch of the harvest shirts, and I had them all. I was like, guys, find one of your size, take them. I said we have a Deep Roots community. I sent them all hoodies. All today, guess what happened? People that came to the event posting the shirts, shouting them out. Right? It was just like, it was, I love that people are proud of that. Don't get me wrong. But obviously, there's the marketing side of that too that helps. But
right.
It happened today as an example, guys, for those of you that want to see the power of that.
And by the way, don't send people pens, guys. Like it's just going to sit around. Like do something that's cool that they actually want to be a part of. And that's another thing here. Some of you might have to take a good look at your brand because the Savage Marketer appeals to all my people because I think inside of us, everyone's a bit savage. Everyone has to do something savage to get results. I already painted the picture in the very beginning of this call about how most people are average, and I'm calling them to be savage. It's the most simple message of all time. If you want to get above average results, you can't do something average. You have to be savage. I literally open up every call like that. And guess what? Every single time, people get it. It's a simple message. So how do you turn your message into a movement? People always ask me, I don't even sell these hats. I literally, the only time you ever get one of these hats is if you buy something from me, I send one to you. You can't buy the hat. And people know this. So anytime you see someone wearing a Savage Marketer hat, they have bought something from me and they're showing their support.
Guys, how do you turn a message into a movement? That is a powerful line for every single one of you that are on this Zoom call. That is unbelievable.
And I think that a lot of people, they get so wrapped up in their company name or whatever. It's not about that. My name is boring. VA staffer is boring. Branded media is boring. But what we do is we have a movement attached to all of our brands. So for example, at Branded Media, we have what's called a brand promise. I want you guys to think about this. This is a great way to wrap this up too. So there's 3 things I want you guys to do. First off, I already told you guys this year, I want you guys to make it a priority to develop the relationships with your existing clients, because it's so much easier if you're able to keep your clients than have to try to find new ones. It's so much easier because they're already your clients. Keep them happy. Keep them saying, dang, that's why I like working with this guy. That's why I like working with Nicole.
They refer you a lot easier too.
That's right. And they're like, man, I have the best hairstylist. Her name's Nicole. I love going in and doing all my hair with Nicole. She does an incredible job. And you know what, Nicole, I wouldn't do a hat. I wouldn't do a hat because obviously you do hair. So what is a complimentary thing that goes along with that, right? I'm assuming most of your clientele are women. Maybe it's a facial care product. Maybe you hook them up with something, the $20 to $40 range, and show them that you care, right? Here's one thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't give someone a Starbucks gift card. I wouldn't give gift cards because it's meaningless. You need to give somebody something that has meaning. You need to paint a story. You need to say, wow, you know what? Jeff was really thoughtful. Nicole was really thoughtful. She knew I was, or maybe personalize it, Nicole, because it's so personalized. You guys talk when you're cutting the hair. You got like 45 minutes to an hour, probably cutting hair, talking about random things going on. You know what's happening in her life. Hey, look, Nicole, wow. Nicole knew I was going through something in my life. And maybe you said that it was, you were maybe she was dealing with some skin problems or something like that. And she gave me the skin cream, right? You were thoughtful about it. Maybe like me, I have eczema, and sadly my 3-year-old kid was also born with it as well. It's pretty bad, really dry skin. I get cracky skin, stuff like that. So like, like having those types of things. So think about like, what is something personally that you could do that makes sense, that shows a level of care and commitment, not just sending them swag bag, not just sending them a hat or a shirt or a pen or a binder, because everybody does that. That's average. That's average. Okay. So invest in the relationships. The second thing that I want you to do is think about, so that's the existing clientele, building up your existing clientele, building trust with your existing clientele so they don't go anywhere. That works for everything. I don't care if you're a financial advisor. I don't care if you're a steam cleaner. I don't care if you're a physical trainer or all the different things in here, mortgage lenders, whatever else. Building those relationships with your existing clients, priority number one. I think a lot of people spend so much time trying to get new clients that they don't really care about the ones that they already took their money from.
That's,
right?
by the way, Jeff, that's and for everybody that went through the Harvest program last year, our next commitment focus for next month is all about your sphere of influence, past clients, and database. And that's what we're talking about, just investing in your database. So this is perfect timing for you guys to hear this as we move into next month's focus too. So I appreciate you talking about this.
That's it. Another thing that I want you guys to do is start building community. Okay, start building community. It's one thing to have a person, a client. It's another thing to start building it together to where they actually feel like they're a part of something. So what is a complementary thing that you can do? So building community, by the way, is very easy. It can just be adding people on Facebook. Hey, let me get you on Facebook. Hey, let me add you on Instagram. Hey, join my Facebook group. Hey, like bring people into your
website community. Where do we hear that from? Join my website community. That's our software. I keep out. You guys heard it from Jeff. There you go.
Get into my email list, right? Like, let me hook you up with something, right? Grab their addresses, like collect information, guys. And I feel sick to my stomach knowing that there's so much information out there that you have from people that you're just not using. And not using it abusively, like to send them spam or whatever else, but like to actually add value to them, right? Like keep them in your community, keep them involved. And here's what I love about community, guys. Community building is permission based. Like they're like, dude, I want to follow Jeff because I want to see more of his stuff, right? I want to follow Heather because I want to see more of Heather's stuff, right? I want to check out what Linda's doing because I care, right? I want to see what Devin's doing because I love being part of the harvest, right? So this is the type of thing that you want to develop with people. So focus on your existing clients, work on the community. Now, here's the thing. When you work on your personal brand by building those relationships and you work on your community, the last thing that I'll leave you with is you need to be intentional about the brand. You need to be intentional about the brand. I feel like I'm preaching right now. This is what my preacher does on Sunday. You got to be intentional with your relationship with God. All right. Hey, man. All right. Forgive me. All right. Not mocking the good man upstairs. All right. I'm just saying, I felt like I was taking you to church right there. So what I want to leave you with, though, is be intentional with your brand, because look, whether you believe it or not, everything that you're posting online, everything you're doing, it is your brand. And I really believe what Jeff Bezos said. If you haven't seen Jeff Bezos, he used to be like this nerdy guy who started Amazon. Now he's like this ultra ripped, roided out dude who flew to space. That's Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos says that your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. I think that's very powerful. That's very powerful. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? That's your brand, right? It's like, oh, this Jeff guy, he came on here. He was really crazy. He gave a lot of value, and He was just trying to sell me. Man, this guy was just like, dude, sign up for my virtual assistants. Dude was just like, yeah, you should sign up at Branded Media and we can work on your personal brand together, right? You'll never hear me pitch. I never come on these things and I never pitch. I never pitch. Can I add value to you guys? Absolutely, I could. Am I going to ask for the business? No, I'm not. You know why? Because I want you guys to follow me. I want you guys to say, dude, Jeff was really valuable. He gave tons of value today. He has some cool stuff. He showed me some things. I actually like some of the stuff he's doing. I want to follow him and see what's going on. And then I want to develop that relationship with you. You're going to start commenting on my stuff. You're going to start asking questions. I'm going to answer them. I might send you a DM and say, hey, do you need help with this? Or usually people message me and they said, hey, can you help me with this? And that's how I want you guys to view your relationships. How can you add so much value to people that they come to you and say, dude, I see what stuff you're doing right now. Like that's what happened with Devin. Devin saw all the crazy stuff I'm doing. He's like, Jeff, dude, I got to have you come to the harvest and tell my people about how you're doing this. Would you do that for me? I'm like, yeah, man, of course. Right. There's no secret. There's no secret sauce here. The truth is you got to show up consistently for your brand. Even if it's 2 or 3 times a week, guys, you got to make time. You got to make time. And you got to come up with what I call the expert pillars. Okay. What are the pillars of expert content that you can develop out, that you constantly post about? All right. And that's how I'm going to end this last 5 minutes. So I want you to think about what are 5 things that people need to believe about you to reinforce that you are an expert in your field. So for me, if I'm saying that I can build personal brands for founders and CEOs to help them become a recognized expert in their field, which is my brand promise, right? I don't know what your brand promise is, but I guarantee you it's most of the times I walk into a room, Devin, you know what I'm saying? You walk into a room and you ask somebody what they do and it's like, you know, and like they'll stutter and they'll talk for like 2 minutes and you're like, dang, I still don't know what you do, bro. Right?
30-second pitch, or what was it that we had to do?
The elevator pitch, right? You gotta, it's not even a pitch. It's just like, it's really a 3-part, you know, it's really a 3-part like formula. Who do you serve? What results do you get? How do you do it? So for me, my who do I serve is CEOs and founders, right? What do? I help them build personal brands. What results do they get to become a recognized expert in their field? Boom. So what do you do? If you're a hairstylist,
great exercise for you guys on this call. Great exercise right there.
Right? Like write that down, like XYZ, who you serve, what you do for them, what's the results they get, right? Heather's asking, should I be on personal pages? I don't even use my business pages. I'm a very relationship marketing kind of guy. Like I believe in the power of a relationship. I don't wake up every morning saying, man, I can't wait to go and hang out and message Heather Jones's Facebook page. You know, like I want to build the connection with you. I want to see the DM, you know, I want to see Devin pop up. Right. So what is it that you do? Who do you do it for? What's the results you get in whatever order you want? It doesn't have to be in any order. You know, could be I help founders become recognized experts in their field by building a personal brand. See, I switched that around, right? But for me, I've practiced it a bunch of times and you guys need to have that practice down. What is it that you do? I build personal brands for founders and CEOs, become recognized experts in their fields, right? Boom, done, easy, let's go, right? If I'm and you have to be aware of the people you're around. If I'm here to talk about virtual assistants and delegation, then I say, I help founders and CEOs build scalable teams by leveraging the power of a virtual assistant. Boom, right? Easy, done. So wherever you're at, you walk in the room, you've got a different focus. There it is. If I'm working with a game developer, I'm going to come into the room and I say, I help build strong, lasting gaming communities through savage marketing to exponentially grow the user base of a game. Boom, there it is. I just made that up, by the way. It wasn't even that good. I haven't practiced it, never said it. Right?
It's not easy to like do that, guys. It's worth the time to do it because if you nail it, that can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
All right, I'm done.
Why don't you tell one more story, right? And then we'll wrap this up because when you say you want people to follow you, well, like I always say, guys, ask yourself. So if somebody got off this call and followed you, would they know what you do? Are you visible every single day? When we were at this mastermind, Jeff talked about, and I think it was at 2018 or 2017, I guess when you came from the mastermind, you said, you know what? I'm going to make a commitment to post every single day.
Yeah.
Right? Now, this wasn't like, I'm going to do this, that, because I know if I hit this metric, that metric, then I'm going to be viral. Like none of that stuff. Just consistent every single day. Share that story and what happened when you posted consistent just every single day.
I'm getting a little emotional here because probably some of you guys can relate to this, but when I left the corporate world, I felt like I got ran over by a bus. I didn't know anything about sales. And I didn't know anything about marketing. But I did know how to build relationships because as a project manager, that's the one thing that you're supposed to do. So I went all in on that. I went all in on building relationships. And I ended up hiring a coach. And so something you guys probably don't know about me, which is probably going to be very surprising to you guys, is that I'm a huge introvert. And even on the Zoom call, I get anxiety just thinking about me speaking to a group of people. I get anxiety, and for me to imagine myself speaking on stage at an event in New York City in 2019, right before the pandemic, speaking 45 minutes before Gary Vaynerchuk, teaching people how to build a brand.
I would shit myself.
It's unbelievable. to have the founder of UGG Boots on your board of advisors.
Yeah.
To have someone like Doug Harrison, who is the guy who's behind the happiness campaign for Coca-Cola. So if you've ever seen a Coca-Cola commercial with a Coke bottle out in the snow with the big wind, for him to be my mentor and help me build the core branding method and help me launch branded media. And I will tell you this, there's nothing more powerful for your business than showing up. And thank you guys. I just read the comments. I'm definitely being authentic. And I know you guys have a lot to do today. And I did not expect to come on this call and cry. But when I started my business, I felt like the world was against me. And I don't have any entrepreneurs in my family. I'm the first. Yeah. I never had a millionaire in my family before me. I couldn't even imagine what $1 million would look like. Nor would I imagine how much it would cost to make $1 million, which I'm sure some of you guys can relate to. You've got to be consistent on your brand. And I told a story at the mastermind with Devin that back in 2016, it was the end of 2016, I had made a pledge that I would post on Facebook every day. I told my coach at that time that I would post every day. And she made me very uncomfortable. She wanted me to do a Facebook Live every day. I didn't survive that one over a month. It was very awkward, me going on a Facebook and looking at myself, and the only person that would like. When I started doing this, the only person that liked my videos was my mom. Yeah. She's the only one that cared. Yeah. But I kept showing up. And I kept adding value. And I started something called Whiteboard Wednesdays, where I put a whiteboard on my wall And all the stuff I was learning about being an entrepreneur, I would just write it out. And that helped me a lot because I already had a plan of what I was going to talk about written on a whiteboard. And I just stand next to the whiteboard and I say, this is what I learned. This is what I learned. This is what I learned. Thank you very much. Done for the day. And then people started saying, damn, that was valuable. That's actually pretty cool. And people started following me and they said, hey, Jeff, like, I probably didn't even know anything. I look back to 2017. I didn't know shit. But I was learning, and I think that people enjoyed watching me learn and grow. And I have people that look at me from, like you said, Devin, years ago, we met in 2018. Yeah. And the stuff I'm doing today is completely different than the stuff I was doing back then, right? I still have my focus. I still have my relationships. I still have the same people. I have new people. I've seen a lot of people go who didn't have the commitment, the drive, the dedication, the faith.
Commitment, drive, and dedication. Commitment, showing up. Commitment,
the faith. The faith to keep doing something even when you don't see any results.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff, brother. Good stuff.
And for me to be invited on stages with literally legends, to have business partnerships with people that are rock stars, to be invited to speak and be a mentor at digital marketing events when I didn't even know what digital marketing was in 2016. To be the person responsible for building some of the best brands on this planet and working with some of the coolest dudes ever. And I didn't even know anything about personal branding until 2018. And to be considered a recognized expert, to be a recognized expert in my field, to have people like Doug Harrison and Brian Smith from Uggs on my board of advisors, this is incredible. And all I will tell you guys is that I showed up. I was consistent, and I always cared about other people, and I want everyone to win around me, and people can feel that. And when people can feel that you want to win and that you want to win with them, they will go. And I have a saying with my own team and my own leadership team and my company that I hope to have really good seatbelts because we are strapping this bitch to the moon. That's where we're going, right? It's going to be a fun journey along the way. Look, it's up and down in business, but you got to have that faith. You got to have that fortitude. You got to have that commitment and dedication. You got to have the people around you, and you got to have unwavering certainty that you will be successful, even when everyone around you is rooting that you lose. That's all I'm going to say.
And that shit happens, right? I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was about, this real estate business owner who grew their company or whatever. And I love this line. She said, she was like, she didn't say Devin. She was talking through me on the radio, but she was like, I just, I'm good at playing scared. You know what I mean? Like, I just learned to play scared. And as she was growing, she was like, the guy who was running the podcast, like, she was like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I just wasn't afraid to play scared. And I figured that shit out. And I just kept going and kept going and kept, just like Jeff's saying, he didn't know. He just had faith. He just knew if I stayed consistent and stayed visible. And then, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, invested in a coach, right? Invested to be a part of groups that can help suppress time and give you the hacks and all that stuff, man. Jeff, and I'm sure everybody in the comment section appreciates you just being the real you, which is why everybody loves you, why everybody follows you, why everybody supports you.
I want to share one last thing, Devin.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people experience this. I've been burned so many times. I've been burned so many times over the years. I've invested in the wrong people. Yeah. I've bought the wrong programs. I've done all sorts of shit I shouldn't have done. Excuse my French, everybody, if your kids are listening in. But I'm trying to be real with you guys. I have invested so much money into things that didn't work. I spent last year $200,000, $217,000 to be exact, on a project that failed. $217,000. And you know what? I thank God for the ability to lose $217,000 and still have a profitable business. I still made money. It definitely cut down the margins. That's for damn sure, right? But I still made money. I had $200,000 to blow. and try and make this thing work. I started a promotions company, and we threw a 90s rock concert on 4th of July in Tampa, Florida, and it was going to be amazing until the typhoon came, until the hurricane came. The only hurricane that hit land in Florida last year.
Oh, man.
And it was a message. It was a message that maybe that's not something that I should do, right? Maybe that's a message. But what I will tell you is that when I launched my own personal brand, I hired a publicist. If you guys ever, now, by the way, there are good publicists and there are bad publicists, but I'd say 90% of the publicists are bad from my experience. And when I hired a publicist, I see people laughing, so they've probably learned this. So I hired a publicist. This is actually, you want to hear my hero story? This is the hero story. This is how I came who I am today. This is the reason I started Branded Media, was because in 2017, I hired a publicist who had worked for some of the biggest names in marketing, Russell Brunson. And oh my God, the list is so long, I can't even tell you guys. Russell Brunson's the guy who started ClickFunnels. One of the founders of Digital Marketer, Frank Kern, who's a huge marketer, like all these people, and I keep seeing him around. And my business partner at the time was like, "Hey, we should just pay the $5,000 each. We'll just pay $5,000, and we'll do the branding, and we'll do the marketing. We're gonna fly into a location. We're going to work on our brand. We're gonna do the pitch." We're gonna leverage his network of people that he's built to do these pitches. And we showed up, and the dude was completely high out of his mind on shrooms or something. He was like hallucinating during the thing. He wasn't able to focus. It was horrible. And then the lessons that he was supposed to do with us were us watching his publicly listed videos on Facebook. Like, he was like, "Yeah, I taught this lesson here. Watch this video. It's an hour and a half long." I was like, "Okay." So I flew out to you. So I spent my own money to Boise, Idaho, which is where it was, because it was right after a mastermind event with Russell Brunson. And we're going to do this thing live. I wasted money on a hotel and a flight and whatever. And he's going to make me watch videos that he publicly lists on his Facebook page. I was just like mind blown. And then he's like, "Yes, I have this template for you. This is the pitch template we're going to use." The pitch template was for one of his clients who was an African immigrant from genocide, and he's gay, and he's the first, millionaire in his family in America who escaped religious prosecution or something, which didn't even make sense because he's gay. And I was like, how in the world am I supposed to modify this, to be my own thing? And I just couldn't, and he wouldn't help me. And I canceled the day halfway through. Me and my partner said, "This isn't working. We're not going to finish the rest of the day. We want a refund." He fought me. And by the way, back in 2017, I didn't have $5,000. I didn't have $5,000 to swipe. I took a huge risk. I took a chance because he told me that if I invested with him, he would get me on stages. He would get me on Forbes. He would get me on Entrepreneur. He would get me on CEO World Magazine. He'd be able to get me on all these things. And I'm like, wow, that would be amazing. Let's go. That would really help me take from my expert status to becoming a recognized expert. There it goes, back to the beginning, right? That's how I thought. I was investing in status. And guess what ended up happening? It was a complete failure, and I lost my battle to get my refund because all of our agreements were in Facebook Messenger, and the bank was like, "Well, your Facebook Messenger chats don't mean shit. They don't count as a contract." So they didn't refund me my money, which was mind-blowing, and I didn't have $5,000. And you know what? It was at that moment I said, I can do it better. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to make it happen myself. And I did. I started researching. I started building a team around me. I started figuring out what he was doing. I was looking at what other people were doing. I would just follow the trails, the foot tracks of people that have already been successful and gained success in the field and marketing. And I agree with Trevor, who says I need a better lawyer. Thank you. I definitely needed that. And by the way, that's exactly what happened. I ended up the funny part is I look at that as a blessing. It was a blessing because I saw that he was scheduled to speak. Now, you guys saw my Facebook post that I just showed you guys earlier about the digital marketers certification program, how I'm a mentor for them, how I went and taught for them. Guess how that happened? One day I saw a Facebook post and somebody who knew that I got screwed over, one of my partners said, hey, look who's speaking at Digital Marketer Certified Partner Day today. And I looked on the roster, and I'll be damned if it wasn't Andrew O'Brien, the publicity guy, the guy who ripped me off. I said, wow, that's something else. This guy's still around ripping people off. And nothing drives people to take action more than getting ripped off and wanting revenge. And that was me. I was on a revenge path. And I saw that and I said, who do I need to talk to at that company to get this guy ejected out of there? And I made a nasty fuss. I wrote a Facebook post saying, hey, how would you feel if a guy who scammed tens of thousands of dollars out of you and other people around you was teaching on the most prestigious stage in digital marketer? And I had the CEO of Digital Marketer reach out to me and he says, hey, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I didn't even know who Ryan Dice was. That's who it is, by the way, Ryan Dice. I had no idea who Ryan Dice was. I was like, oh my God, that's the CEO of the company. He reached out to me. I didn't have any connection with him. I didn't know anything. Somebody who was in my network knew him. It's a connection of a connection. You know, that 6 degrees of separation we talk about on the internet, it's like 1 degree, right? Like you're just someone you know has a connection to someone who can change your life today.
That
Flat out.
Yeah.
He contacted me. I told him what I was thinking because I saw that he works with all these big wigs. And I said, you know what? I bet he goes to these big wigs and he's like, hey, I'll do PR for you for free. All I want to do is pitch to your low level people in your mastermind. And then I'll take money from them, not from you. I mean, I'm sure he said it much better than that, but in my mind, I'm thinking negatively. So that's what I envision him doing, right? Screwing me over and using the authority and power of working with those cool people. And guess what? He said, let me check back in with you. He had Marcus Murphy, who was his lead number 2 guy, reach out to me and said, hey, I did some research. I called Frank Kern. Yeah, Frank Kern never paid him. Well. Huh. My theory is complete. I was right. I mean, come on, guys. I was actually kind of jealous. I was like, what a brilliant model. I could just go to these mega celebrities and say, hey, I'll work for you for free. And then all I have to do on my resume is say, look, I work for Frank Kern. And if you can't do publicity for someone as big as Ryan Dice and Frank Kern, shame on you. I bet my 9-year-old kid could get publicity for him, right? You just write an email saying, hey, Frank Kern wants to do a show with you. He'd like to be featured on your thing. Of course, he's an OG, as somebody said in the chats. Frank's an OG. All right, so to wrap up the story and give you guys some hope, I could have been very nasty and I could have thought very negatively and I could have lambasted this guy, which I never did online. I've never said his name outside of this call. I've never posted it publicly or anything like that. Devin, make sure this is not a public story.
Andrew O'Brien, right? So
yeah.
We actually have an Andrew O'Brien in there. Obviously not the same Andrew O'Brien.
Not the publicity guy. Yeah.
I don't know if he's on this call.
So,
to share that with him.
So, and the worst part is the guy shifted gears. Now he's like put on his veterans hat and stuff, and now he's screwing veterans over. Like he's moved on from screwing over other people for publicity. Now he's working with the Veterans Foundation, screwing over veterans. Like the guy is a scum of the earth. But anyway, here's what's crazy. Instead of leading from a negative place and wanting to destroy this guy, which I did internally want to do, I thought, how could I position this as a win for myself? And I said, okay. I wrote a Facebook post called How Not to Get Scammed by a Publicist. And I literally wrote down everything that I did wrong. Make sure you have an email, have everything in writing, have a term, review the contract, make sure that they don't have some way to get out of it, right? Make sure that there's a refundable clause. I wrote this thing, and then I even drafted up emails. I said, look, here's some emails you can write. Because this is what the credit card company told me. By the way, it wasn't a credit card. That was my first mistake. Always pay on a credit card. If I would have used my American Express Platinum, which by the way, I didn't have an American Express Platinum back then. That's how I got screwed over. It was just my Visa at my bank. My bank doesn't give a damn, right? Once the money's gone, it's gone. All right. Credit card is your protector in chief when it comes to charges. Use a damn credit card. I pay my entire payroll of 150 people on a credit card. Every single person. And I'm using them points, baby. That's all my Christmas presents every year. I'm the favorite uncle, yo. I got like 1.6 million American Express points. And it doesn't make sense to use the American Express points for business because it's a write-off anyway. All right. So check this out. I wrote that post up, and their team at Digital Marketer reached out to me and said, damn, Jeff, you had all the right to lambast this guy, to literally do a public flogging of this guy. And every time someone asked you who that person was, you never revealed. You never revealed. Even when people tagged the right person, I'd say, I don't know, maybe, right? And instead, I led with giving value and helping other people avoid the scenario so that people can learn from my mistake. And they were so appreciative of that they invited me to fly down to Austin, Texas, and work on their screening committee, like to advise their screening committee on what they look for to review people before they're allowed to speak at their events. Wow. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And when I went there, I built the relationship with them. They were very grateful and thankful. And I told them a little bit about what I want to do and what my visions are. I was very grateful for them. And I told them, wow, thank you for having me out here. And next thing you know, Ryan Dice is my friend on Facebook, which if you don't know anything about the guy, he's even more introverted than me. And he doesn't like to have friends. So for me to be one of his like 100 friends on Facebook is pretty cool. And he comments and likes on my stuff all the time. Sometimes I screenshotted a comment he made on one of my posts one time because he said, this is genius in at least 3 different ways. That is like I'm going to put that on a plaque somewhere in my room. Ryan Dice told me that one of my posts was genius in 3 different ways. So the moral of the story is that sometimes it takes wacky ass motivation to get you to do things. And sometimes that motivation is failure. I'm not driven by success. I'm not driven by the dangling carrot. I'm a stick guy. You know, they have the carrot and the stick analogy. Like some people, they're like, oh, I see the future. We're going. This is it. This is what I want. That's not me. I'm very complacent. As an introvert and making lots of money, that doesn't drive me. What drives me is failure. Failure drives me. I hate the idea of failing on something. I hate the idea that something that I'm doing isn't working and it's failing. So I have to do everything possible in my gut to not fail, which by the way is also a double-edged sword. That's how I lost $200,000 last year on a business I should have never started. All right. So ending with this, please, I just want you guys to be intentional with your brand. And I want you to always think of how every situation, even if it's negative, can be a lesson, not only for you, but for other people around you, because you have learned so much. The collective power and knowledge, the wealth of knowledge on this call is so crazy. And you guys are being selfish. You guys are being selfish by not investing in your own personal brand and putting yourself out there and sharing your experiences, sharing your stories, sharing your wins, sharing your losses, sharing the problems that you've got going on in your life, guys. I know as an entrepreneur, it's really hard sometimes, all right, to share your problems. Now, look, there's a difference between being vulnerable and positioning yourself as a thought leader and being vulnerable in a very negative way. Like, for example, some people online, and I'm going to say a cuss word here, and I'm really sorry in advance, so, you know, earmuffs if you need to. But I feel like a lot of times, and you guys probably have these people in your social media networks, they post stuff that should never be posted online, right? Especially like marriage stuff. Like if you're going through things, my wife did this, whatever else, like my husband did this, whatever else not, like be careful, because I feel like we're coming to this crevice where people are so, attention is the currency in the economy right now. Attention is currency in the economy right now. Everyone's fighting for your attention. Attention is key. It's the cream of the crop. Everybody wants an audience right now, which is why it's really important you build one. And I feel like here, if there's one thing I can tell you not to do not go in like posting your dirty laundry online is like walking out into the middle of a crowded street, pulling down your pants, taking a shit, and then getting mad at people for not applauding. Right? Like people are going to be looking at you like, dude, why is this guy putting this poop out in the middle of the street right now? Right? Joe Silva, thank you. Well done. There it is. That's a great summary for the whole call. If time is your greatest asset, then attention is your greatest gift. Wow. That's going.
That's the last guy we want to give credit on.
Come on. I don't know who Joe stole that from, but that was good. All right. I don't know who Joe stole that to.
I'm going to be completely honest and have to jump in and say I actually created that myself.
Did you?
Full disclosure.
All right, Joe. Joe, add me on Facebook if we're not friends already. Copy and paste that to me. All right. I'm going to give you some credit. All right. I'm
going to research that before this happens. Let's all go.
No, that was so beautiful. Like that right there is going to get me like 100 likes, guaranteed. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for sharing your wealth of knowledge, because I agree 100%. That's one of the biggest things. And yeah, you know what? Do you have Zoom on, Joe, or is your head really just getting bigger? Is it?
It expands like that throughout the day on occasion. I don't know how it happens.
Well, it was a pleasure being with you guys. Wow, we went 25 minutes over.
It's
thank
typically
you guys so much. I guess I got
5
5 minutes. If you guys want to ask questions, I got 5 minutes on my next call. If you guys have anything for me.
Does anybody have a question? I know we got a lot on this call.
Yeah, I think I went over a lot.
You can raise
the only thing I'm questioning right now is my sanity. Well, thank you guys for having me. You guys just Jeff J. Hunter. I'm actually Google verified now. So like when you type in Jeff J. Hunter in Google, I have like my own little panel and stuff, which is kind of cool. But again, any way I can help you guys, building your brand, helping you with the team. Like I said, I have to be careful about my ask right now because we have a 3-week wait list for VAs right now. So even if you wanted a VA, it wouldn't be until next month. But I really appreciate being a part of the Harvest, Devin. I know you and I speak damn near like every other week about projects we're going to be working on together and stuff. So I just want to spend my last 20 seconds just thanking Devin for having me, and DiNofa, let's get on it. Devin DiNofa. All right. What you doing?
Well, listen, Jeff, thank you so much. And guys, remember, share the call.
Hold on. Jeff. This is a very good question. Matt Ron just says a question that I get asked a lot, actually. Being introverted, how do you bring energy to appear extroverted? This is a really good question, guys. And I will tell you something. There's one thing that trumps insecurity, that trumps introversion, and that's competency. I believe that the most introverted, reserved person can become what I call an ambivert. I think that's a real word, by the way. So when I took my test, when I took the Myers-Briggs, whatever that thing's called, I was an INTJ, an introverted, whatever that is, judgmental prick, basically. And then over time, I got more confident speaking to groups of people, and I became way more competent in the value that I provide to people, because I can sit here and look at every single one of you with absolute certainty that what I've given you today is from my heart the most valuable thing that I can possibly give you. Like I only came here with one mission, which is to teach you some valuable lessons that I've learned that I know that if you apply, you're going to get results. I'm very confident in that. Competence brings confidence. So that's it. That's the goal, is just to be more competent in what you do and keep showing up. And the more you do something, you're just finally going to get to it, guys. And it's kind of like the analogy of my son who's playing flag football. He's just had his second game yesterday, which sucked. He threw 2 interceptions. When he first started flag football at practice, he hated it, right? He absolutely hated flag football because he's the tallest kid on the team. His flags are very easy to grab. And his his I guess you could say, if there was one animal that I would like align him with, like his spirit animal out on the field, would be a giraffe. Like, he looks like a giraffe out there. You know, he's goofy, he's really tall. He's his giraffe spirit animal. He's just not the most athletic kid. So you can only get beat up so many times before you get discouraged with the game. But now he's getting better. And me and him do practice drills. We're doing passing drills, things like that. He's getting better at the game. And you know what? Now he's excited to go to the game because he got a couple wins, right? He got a couple wins now. And it's the same thing with everything in life. Once you start getting the wins, it builds your confidence. Once you start building your confidence, you know, you can do anything. You can overcome any problem. Devin and I, you guys, I don't know if you've already got Jeff on cue to speak. The other Jeff, our good friend. I don't want to spoil it for people. I don't want to give him the full name. I don't want them to know. But there's another Jeff coming into the who has overcome the most ridiculous of obstacles ever, and not as challenging as what Jeff has gone through. And it's very interesting how perspective changes. It's all relative. Our lives are not as bad as we think they are.
Good stuff, brother. Well, Jeff, thank you so much, man. You delivered millions of dollars of value. And again, as you all know, if you don't execute it, you won't see any results. So get out there, get uncomfortable, collaborate with each other, get accountability partners, challenge each other to post. And Jeff, thank you so much, man. Follow Jeff, share the call, guys. You know, give him a shout out. And we appreciate every single one of you guys. Thanks for making a commitment to yourself and being on this call. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Dev. Thanks, Jeff.